Hello, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Whistle with me, Matty K. And no fancy intro today because we are on a rushed one. It's midweek fixtures yet again. FA Cup has been, Champions League's coming up. There's football coming out of our ears. Grace Wild, talk me through this Premier League week.
Lots of things happen, usual stuff, where random results you don't expect to happen. But I'm happy because West Ham got 3 points. Woo!
Yeah, well, we'll dive into that. This is not a great week for me, is it? To be fair, West Ham got 3 points. Tottenham lost yet again. It's going to be a short, but it's going to feel very long.
Yeah, I think it might.
Do you want to kick us
I'm
off with
so sorry, Matty. I'm so sorry.
just don't. I've not even got the energy for it today. We're not. Right, what I know we're going to keep this quick. Have you seen the news today that Tottenham are now linked with Sean Dyche?
No, I have not seen that news, but I'll be honest with you, mate. I think that could be a saving grace.
Oh, yeah,
I
but
know it's not what you want to hear.
maybe you're right. It probably will be the saving grace, but Sean Dyche at Tottenham, Grace. You know what I mean?
Relegation at Tottenham, though, mate. Relegation at Tottenham is not where you want to be. So if Sean Dyche can keep you up,
Yeah. Just before we jump into our first game, Grace, you did it live, didn't you, during the Tottenham Crystal Palace game? Absolutely smashed it out of the park, mate. Well done. So anyone listening, check out Grace Wild Football on TikTok. She's going live now, apparently. So yeah, it
yeah,
really good. I enjoyed it.
I should be going live tomorrow night for Newcastle Barcelona. That's planned.
Ooh, fancy, fancy. I like it.
Yeah, new thing, but I'm really enjoying it. So we're going to carry it on.
Yeah, good mate. You smashed it. Do you want to take us off with the first game of the week?
Yes, I can do. And it's a boring one to start with. Bournemouth nil, Brentford nil. Uh, that's how I feel about this game. That's genuinely how I feel about this game. The only thing interesting that happened was an Everton disallowed goal that was offside. Bournemouth had lots of chances that weren't on target. Brentford had fewer chances, but were on target, just straight at the keeper. It was just one of those games.
Yeah, I mean, literally, it's not a bad game for us to start with because we've just got nothing to say about it. It's just sort of one of them games. It's just a nil-nil. Not to be fair, not really a bad result for either team. Brentford sitting in seventh, Bournemouth sitting in ninth. You'd take a draw, wouldn't you? But you, yeah, boring, especially for the neutral.
Yeah, it just felt, I don't know, maybe it felt a bit tired, that game. Just, it's like getting to that stage of the season, isn't it, where you see a few tired legs and games like that just sort of comfortably end at a nil-nil. And for Bournemouth and Brentford, I'm not really shocked, to be honest.
The only question I've got for you: if Brentford do get European football, are you giving manager of the season to Keith Andrews?
Ooh, haven't thought that one through, but immediately, yeah, I probably am. Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
good shout, isn't it? I think he's got
Mm.
to be up there, especially with them. I think Brentford were tipped to be relegated when it was announced that he was going to be manager. So fair play.
Yeah, yeah, he'd definitely be up there for me. Definitely.
Sweet. I mean that. Yeah. There's literally nothing else to say about that game. Should we jump into Everton Burnley?
Yes, and I really enjoyed this one. I can't lie. Everton 2, Burnley nil. I thought Everton played some delicious football in this game. I do not know if you've seen the highlights for this game, but I just thought Everton were fantastic and they deserved every single bit of that win. In fact, my goal of the week is going to be the second goal in this game because that Dewsbury Hall goal, loved everything about it. It was Everton took the lead, well, obviously, because they were the only team that scored with Tarkovsky. It was a Ghana free kick, actually, which is something I wanted to bring up because Ghana free kick's not something we really talk about, not something that many people talk about. He put in some fabulous free kicks, and he has done previously. This was a perfect example of it. It was a Ghana free kick and a back post header, and the header was sublime. Completely deserved 1-0. And Dai had a disallowed goal, which was rightfully offside. And then that Dewsbury Hall goal. Oh, it's just lovely. It's just lovely in so many ways. And like I said, I'll do a separate video, my goal of the week, on that one because everything about it is such a team goal. And it just summed up Everton's performance. I thought McNeil was particularly good. Just really delicious football from Everton.
Mate, I'm having a chaotic moment here. My light's messing up. I'm trying to watch this free kick highlight. You just used the word delicious. I don't know what's going on. I'm having an absolute mare.
Right,
Yes,
you're all right. Your lighting's good.
I've just seen that Ghana free kick, and yeah, you're right. We don't talk about these things enough. To be honest, I've had to look back at the highlights because I just can't remember what even happened. It was not even a week ago, but this feels like there's been about 3 weeks worth of football in one go. That's a great save there as well from the Burnley keeper.
Hmm.
It still won't come up to Tarkowski. Is it Tarkowski who's got the second goal?
Yeah, no, the first one. Tarkov's got the first one, and Dewsbury Hall got the second
Oh,
one.
Dewsbury Hall. There we go. Lovely little finish. Yeah.
Mm. Really nice. I love just the starting point to the end point of that goal, and that's why it's my goal of the week. I've loved everything Dewsbury Hall's done this season,
Oh,
personally.
that's not the goal. That's the goal ruled out. There was that Ndai who just slotted that home, and that goal was ruled out. Oh, okay. So I've literally I can't remember half of this stuff.
So people can have the highlights running at the same time as you.
There we go.
Just
Yeah.
watch it.
Next highlight was there, Dewsbury Hall. Yeah, lovely little finish. To be fair. Yeah, quality from start to finish. Like it.
Yeah, it was just a classy game from Everton, I think, and Everton have really frustrated me this season because I think they've either been really, really good or they've been poor. There's been no in between, and that's why they're sat where they are, which is safe, but not really contesting for too much. They're just comfortable, and I don't think it's a bad place to be for Everton, given the new stadium. I think we were fighting relegation the season that we moved to the London Stadium. So, you can't really disrespect it too much. But yeah, if they played like that every week, they'd be a force.
What are the European spots? What do they go up to? Eighth?
It confuses me every year. I think it's dependent on who wins.
Who wins what?
Yeah, yeah, it's all dependent on who wins what. We've had no cup finals yet, have we?
Everton are sitting eighth, a point behind Brentford. So I mean, hey, look, there's a push for European football there.
Well, maybe. Look, absolutely. I think
Surprises me.
if
Like
go on,
you
they
just said, they've been a bit 50-50. They've either been quality or they've been dog shit. And it's kind of like they're similar with their home form. It's either been really good or really shit. So yeah, I mean, I was quite surprised Everton are up in eighth, but there we go.
Yeah, so was I actually. I expected them to be sort of 10th. God, I should have looked at the table before we started this. But this season is just one of those anything can happen on a game week. And, if Everton play like that until the end of the season, absolutely they can push for Europe.
Yeah. Another win for Sunderland. It's good to see them get a win back on the board, to be fair, because them have been a bit 50-50 in recent weeks, so aren't they, with their form? But Leeds nil, Sunderland 1. Leeds just beating. Who did they beat last night? Was it Norwich they beat last night? 3-0?
It was.
There we go. So they're through in the FA Cup round. Anyway, yeah, Leeds nil, Sunderland 1. What did you pick up from this game, Grace?
Well, you saying about them being 50-50, absolutely, because they won this one, which I wasn't expecting, to be honest with you. And then they got knocked out by Port Vale. So, they are so 50-50. I want to bring up the Rodon. I should say Rodon. I don't know why. It just doesn't feel right to say Rodon, but I think it is Rodon.
Yeah.
Rodon disallowed goal.
He used
That was offside.
he used to play at Tottenham.
Yes, of course he did. Of course he did. Um, right. So this is an interesting one. Have you seen the highlights for this one, Matty?
No. This was not a game that I was when I looked at this, I did not want to tune in.
Fair enough.
What game did I
There
watch actually on this week? This will have been. Do you know what? I don't even know if I did watch any of these games. Not in full, anyway. Don't think I did.
it's because there's so much football on. It's hard to keep up, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Go on, take me.
I want to bring up Sunderland won because of a penalty, right? And I'm going to come back to this at some point. I think it is during the West Ham game actually. It was the Ampadu penalty offence. So I don't know whether you want to, while I'm explaining it, quickly look it up so that you can have some sort of view on it. Um, it looks like the initial contact was not too much of an issue, but it was handball what it was given for. But it seems like he purposefully controlled the ball with his arm afterwards. So the initial contact didn't necessarily look too bad, but I think it was that second contact that meant it was a penalty. And in today's rules, that is a penalty 100%. My problem is later on when I bring up a penalty offence where that's not given and I'm frustrated because if you look at this, I think we would both say the right decision was made, and it should be a penalty. Diarra slotted it home. It was the winner for Sunderland. I think keeper could do better, to be honest with you, in terms of the penalty, but that's me being picky. I think keeper can do better. Um, but yeah, this was interesting. This was really interesting for me that this one was given, but another one wasn't later on in the game week.
What minute was it in the game? Oh, that's a great free kick saved there. What minute was it?
Um, hang on. I can tell you once one football loads. Sorry, no free
Oh,
advertisement
you're
on
right.
here.
Found it. One
We got
sec.
it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let me have a look. I've just seen the
Have,
penalty. Let's go back to the
have a watch of it.
hmm, massive appeals. Let's have a look. So it comes off his leg, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And then he's
And then
yeah.
I think it's
See,
second contact.
it looks like it's the little again. We did not speak about this last week with the Tottenham one. It's the or the Arsenal. Was it Declan Rice? It's the movement in it. It's that he's moving it towards it. So, but yeah, we didn't see it for Declan Rice. But we've how many times we've spoke about consistency this season. So when it comes to refereeing decisions, anyway. But yeah, it's the little movement. So yeah, no, fair enough. Penalty. Um,
Yeah, I think it is a penalty in today's game. I would say it's a penalty.
you said about the keeper. Let me have a look.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
What's
fair enough.
keeper could do better.
Yeah, yeah, he's got very lucky that that's gone in there. Yeah, no, fair enough. Can't really argue with any of that. Keeper's got to do better there.
Yeah. And so essentially, I just wanted to bring up the Ampadu penalty offence just to bring it forward later on, for when something wasn't given. Other than that, it was a game I expected to be a bit of a goal fest. To be honest with you, I did expect a good few goals in this one. I expected Leeds to at least score, especially as it was at Ellen Road. But Sunderland came out on top.
We're talking about Tottenham being relegation fodder. They are only 2 points ahead of Spurs in 15th. They're still in the relegation fight, aren't they?
They are. They are. And I think a couple of weeks ago, I'd have probably said, no, they'll be fine. But dropping results like that, I mean, even we beat Sunderland when they came to ours, and that's my sort of measuring line at the moment. And I think Leeds needed to get something from this, in my opinion, to just keep themselves above water. Now they are looking at being dragged back into it because the teams below them are getting points.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't really got time to go into it, but it kind of makes you wonder if Calvert-Lewin didn't have that massive purple patch in the middle of the season, where would they be?
Mm.
Look, that's a different conversation for a different day. I think they'll be okay, Leeds, anyway. Big shock. Well, do you know what, actually? Is it a big shock, this? Is it really that big of a shock?
I don't think any Liverpool result this season is a big shock.
So we're talking about Wolves 2, Liverpool 1. I did the three predictions, didn't I, before this week's round of football. I predicted there was three things I was going to go for in this game, and it was either a Wolves win. I know this is going to sound stupid to say now in hindsight, but either a Wolves win, Mo Salah to get a goal, and a red card in the game. I decided to go for the red card. The other two turned out right, and there was no red card. But that was
Typical.
yeah, which is typical. But yeah, I mean, I'm not. I do say it's a big shock, but is it really a big shock? It's just not like you say. Liverpool have been so weird to watch this season, and this is another reason why there's pressure on Slot to leave at the end of the season, especially when you've got the likes of Xavi waiting in the rings.
Yeah, and I just don't think this does Schlott any justice. I think these sort of games are what could eventually get in the sack because you can't be dropping points away from it. Not just dropping points, losing to bottom of the league. And I know Wolves have been a bit better recently, and we've spoken about it enough on this podcast, about their sort of turn around this season. I think it's too late, but you still can't be doing that. You still just as Liverpool, you can't be doing that. I know Salah made some decent saves, and I'm sure Liverpool fans can take one positive from the game. It's that Salah got on the score sheet, and it was a It was a good goal. It was a classic Salah goal, in my opinion. But it's just they're so easy to score against, it seems. I mean, even we did it. Do you know what I mean? Like I say, I use us as a sort of measuring line. They were reasonably easy to get a goal against, and I think I'm still not convinced by Canate personally. I'm still not. Um, the two goals. I mean, the winner for Wolves was a heavy deflection. That is worth mentioning. It was a heavy deflection,
Yeah,
last
but
minute.
then how many deflections did Liverpool have against West Ham? Do you know what I mean? So he's give and take in it.
Absolutely, 100%. And I just think it sums up Liverpool season.
Yeah, well, what really sums it up is they go and play Wolves back at Wolves as well in the FA Cup and beat them 3-1. So it's
Yeah.
just, yeah, it's been a really, really weird season for them. And if they had some sort of consistency and stability, they probably would still be fighting for the league, definitely Champions League spots. But yeah, it's just very, very, very weird. But yeah, great 3 points for Wolves. I think there's a narrative of a great escape, and I think that's potentially why our podcast day has been cancelled now, thanks to that West Ham Wolves game being moved to a Friday night. Because yeah, look, I think the narrative is there in it for the great escape. I don't think it'll happen, but yeah, it's a big game in the relegation fight, that actually, as it turns out.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see how those relegation spots shift over the next few game weeks because I think there could be movement. We've had a pretty solid bottom two for a while, but I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't be shocked if Burnley finish maybe 17th, sorry, 18th, and Wolves maybe finish. I don't know. I probably would have said, oh, solid, the bottom two are going to be Burnley and Wolves. I'm not so sure anymore because both of them seem to pick up random points.
You could definitely see Wolves jumping Burnley though, can't you? I mean, they're only 3 points off them.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
A bit of a scare for Chelsea up against Wrexham in the FA Cup. Great game, by the way. But no scare against Villa. Aston Villa won, Chelsea 4. We spoke quite a lot, haven't we, about Aston Villa's form and how it's sort of taken a bit of a nosedive. Look, they've got players out injured. We've spoken about that quite heavily in recent podcasts. But this form just can't continue, can it, Grace?
No, it can't. And it's that Villa Park form that's scaring me for Villa because that is a fortress in many ways. I've been there myself. I absolutely love it as a stadium. I think it's people will complain about any football stadium, but it's so traditional and it's so old school. And having a stadium, West Ham having a stadium like they do, I appreciate those stadiums so much more. And the atmosphere is just, it's a fabulous day out, Villa Park, and Villa Park has always been a tough place to go to, and it's just not anymore. Like, and I say anymore over the last few game weeks, they've dropped. This isn't a whole season issue. In a sense, it's lucky that they've had that big period throughout this season where they were winning a lot of games because now this fall off doesn't seem so dramatic and doesn't seem so impactful, maybe. But Chelsea just pretty easily stuck four past them. Shao Pedro just had a field day. He got himself a hat trick. I know he does like to score against Villa. I think this is the team he scored the most Premier League goals against. But still, yeah, it just felt too easy for Chelsea.
Yeah, I've got two questions for you. With that Chelsea win, it puts them on 48 points alongside Liverpool, 3 points behind Villa. Villa sitting fourth, Chelsea fifth, Liverpool sixth. Do Villa make Champions League spot?
With the ramp up of the likes of United and Chelsea and Liverpool, even, they're going to get points towards the end of the season. I don't feel so convinced anymore. I think Villa will still get Europe of some sort, but I'm not sure it's going to be Champions League now. We'll have to wait and see. That could change in the next few game weeks. This season is mental. One minute you're thinking one thing, two game weeks later you're thinking something completely different. So you never know. They could have a turnaround again and they could finish the season on a high in which they do get Champions League football. But I think it would be a shame to see them not get it because I think that big patch during the season where they were particularly good meant you almost were rooting for them to get Champions League football. I quite like them being in Champions League football. But this drop off has just been a real drop off. Like it's crazy.
It's
And
mad.
so yeah,
It's mad considering we was talking about them being title contenders. But to be fair, the media in general has a tendency to call shots way too early in the season, don't they? But the second question I've got for you: did you see Liam Rossini's comments on João Pedro being in the same class as Mbappe and Harry Kane?
I didn't.
Okay.
Um, let's just slow it down. Let's just, let's just put the brakes on slightly. Okay.
Oh,
These
and Lewandowski. Sorry, I think he was thrown in the mix as well. There was three players: Lewandowski, Harry Kane, and Mbappe, and apparently João Pedro.
I mean, look, I like João Pedro. I like him. I think he's a great player. I'd probably sell a kidney to have him at West Ham, but I'm not sure I'm putting him in that bracket at the moment. I mean, arguably, I'm not really putting Mbappe in that bracket that much. Like I am, based off his whole career. But his time at Real Madrid has not been amazing. From what I've seen, many Real Madrid fans could come at me and say he's had individual performances that are fabulous, whatever. I think that is a very high standard, and people like Kane and Lewandowski have been so consistent, so at the top of their game for so long, and everybody can sort of identify them. Whether you're on the outskirts of the game or really into the game, you can recognize those players. And then 100% Mbappe's in that category. I think Mbappe for me is currently on the fringes of that, definitely going to make it in at some point. Because for me, I hold Kane and Lewandowski and those type of players to a really high standard. You don't just get in there. Um, and I'm not putting João Pedro there. I'm sorry, I'm not.
You can call me biased for Tottenham roots and stuff, but I will die on the hill that Harry Kane is one of the most underrated players of all time, despite the fact of how quality he is. And I genuinely, and not even just for an England point of view, I genuinely hope he goes on to win the World Cup this year and the Champions League with Bayern, because I think he fully deserves it. And I think if that does happen, the Ballon d'Or is knocking right on his door.
I mean, yeah, and I think we've had the sort of benefit of watching, I've watched Kane for a very long time. I'm a Premier League fan, and he's been in the Premier League for a very long time. I don't see as much of him now that he plays for Bayern, but I do know his quality, and his bad day is a pretty solid day for most. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's that's the benefit and that's the confidence we have in Kane in being able to put him in that bracket. Um, from an Mbappe point of view, I think I, I feel really on the edge of that because I almost want to say, oh yeah, he's definitely in that category to sort of go with the media. I'm really want him to be. And there's been stages of his career where I think, oh my God, you're just going to fly. But there's been other stages of his career where he just frustrates me as a player. And I think João Pedro, I just think it's almost offensive to those players who have played so consistently for so long to even consider him in that category at the moment just feels wrong.
Yeah, fair enough. Uh, Arsenal make it 7 points clear of Manchester City. Manchester City do still have a game in hand, to be fair, but Brighton nil, Arsenal one. I'm probably going to butcher this stat, and I think listeners have probably gathered by now. I haven't done much research for this week, but what is the some sort of stat where Arsenal took like 34 minutes to get the ball restarted throughout the course of the 90 minutes or something like this? Have you seen this stat?
No, that
So
just hurt.
yeah, and I mean, look, I know obviously Tottenham fan, West Ham fan, we're gonna slate Arsenal a little bit. I will give them credit where it's due when it's deserved. I think there's a lot of question marks over their behaviour on set pieces, etc., throughout this full season. But stuff like that, I really like. Yeah, whenever the ball goes out of play, taking a total of 34 minutes to get the game restarted from start to finish is mental, and it's another reason why people don't want Arsenal to win the league because we just don't agree with this sort of you can call it shithousery if you want, and whatever, however you want to justify it. But that it's not football, Grace.
No, it's not the type of football fans want to see. I mean, this keeps going around, doesn't it? But like, are Arsenal fans happy to win the league based on this football? Of course they're going to be. Of course they're going to be. The truth is, I doubt if West Ham ever won the league that we'd do it playing delightful Man City style football. But for me, I think Arsenal have got the players, the squad to really be creative in the way in which they play, and they can win the league purely through creativity and style of play. This it just hurts. It just hurts, and it can't be fun to watch, can it?
Absolutely not. I've not actually seen this Saka goal, so I'm just playing it now. But talk me through it, Grace.
Well, is it a deflection? Maybe it is. Maybe a slight deflection, but it's a good shot from Saka. From an individual point of view, I'm pleased for Saka because I quite like Saka as a person, and I think he's been slated quite a lot this season. You're a Tottenham fan. I think he's been slated quite a lot this season. So I think he's one of those little adorable type players that I just want to be happy all the time. Um, and just that's just me. I'm sure you don't feel the same way, but I was happy to see him on the score sheet if Arsenal were going to win. Obviously, like you said, I'm West Ham, you're Tottenham. We're not going to be going for Arsenal winning the league. Um, I think Verbruggen can do better for this goal. Do you think so?
I've not got to it yet. I've just seen Raya get lobbed and Gabriel absolutely bail him out. Did you see that? What we on here? Oh yeah, this will be it. 8 minutes 44. Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
Verbruggen should do better.
Yeah. 100%. Well, I think even Saka, I think his reaction was like, yeah, that shouldn't have gone in.
Yeah,
It does take a deflection. Okay, it does take a deflection. Um, is it quite? This is a better angle. Sorry for the audio listeners, but takes a shot in. Okay, yeah, the deflection takes it through for Bruggen's legs, to be fair. So I think there's still an argument to say you can do better there. You've got to be a bit more nimble on your feet, but I get it. I get why it's gone in, if that makes sense.
yeah. It just feels like from a certain angle you can see how Verbruggen's mistimed it or because he's not seen it. I think overall you look at that and you say Verbruggen could do better. Of course, there's the nitpicky parts where you say, has he seen it? The deflection, does that shake him, in direction or whatever. But it just feels like a goal. I don't know about you, but I just feel annoyed that a goal like that wins that game.
Again, though, this is probably again because it's Arsenal or whatever, but like to win a league, you are going to have the luck on your side throughout the majority of the season. It does feel like Arsenal have had that, and I'm not being salty or being rage baited by whatever you call it, whatever you want. But you have Arsenal have had a lot of luck when it comes to referee decisions, etc., and stuff like that. And the loss to the beat Wolves thanks to two own goals, and you know what I mean, stuff like that. It's a lot of stuff's gone in their favour, which you do need to have to win the season. So yeah, you can call it salty or call it being rage baited, whatever you want to call it these days. But that is just the facts.
Yeah, yeah, and we've already spoken about a decision that didn't make sense last week, that has made sense somehow this week. And, it does just feel that way. And I don't know how Brighton didn't score, to be honest with you. They had some great opportunities if you watch the highlights. I just think it was um, one of those sort of frustrating games, to be honest with you. I think from a Brighton point of view, you'd be really frustrated. There was a penalty incident in here. I didn't write down who it was for. That was stupid. And I thought that was quite questionable. Um, or not questionable, but should be talked about as being questionable. I think it was a Brighton player being dragged to the floor, if I remember rightly, but he was dragged to the ground, and I have seen them given. Not saying I think it should be a penalty, but it was in there. It's worth that sort of, bringing it up as being a one of those decisions that, we've spoken about. If Christian Romero did that, that would be a penalty type. If you do feel like that against the likes of Arsenal at the moment, if you do feel like that luck is on their side, and that might push them over the line. It might do.
Right, I'm going to say this. You're not going to question it. I'm going to say this. We're going to move on, and then we're going to cover more on it next week.
Okay, go on.
I think Arsenal have won the league.
Okay.
Fulham nil, West Ham won. It's that man again. I'm not covering anymore. I
Right,
want
go
to.
on.
I do think. Yeah, that's it. I think it's done. I think. Yeah, okay, Man City have got a game in hand and stuff like that, but I think Arsenal's it's in the bag now with 9 games to go. Um, let's not talk
Still
about
got
it. Yeah, well, game in hand and still play each other. Yeah, but Man City. We'll get on to Man City in a minute. They're just dropping too many points to teams you don't expect. But we'll get on to
true.
that. Fulham nil, West Ham 1. That man again, Somerville. I'm turning my notes off, Grace. This is all on you. Go for it. You're the West Ham fan.
I am so happy with this. I almost felt a bit emotional after this game. This one felt really big. Um, it felt like we had to get something from it, even though it was a tough ask, because Fulham at Craven Cottage this season have been quite unpredictable. I don't think Fulham were at their best. I want to bring up the Iwobi penalty shout naturally. I don't know whether you've seen it, where Ampadu's penalties given. Why is Iwobi's not? I'm not saying I think it should be a penalty from my point of view, but by the rules, that should be a penalty. He moves his arm towards the ball, and it just frustrates me that that's not given. And you hear it all the time. That should be a penalty. Anyway, let's move on. And it's like, we're a team, but if we didn't get anything from that game, you think that could have taken us down. Do you know what I mean? It's those sort of decisions. But anyway, we
Okay.
did win, so it wasn't too impactful. There was a lot that happened in this game. So Fernandez, Mateus Fernandez got a yellow card early on, and there were shouts for him to get a second yellow card, right? And at the time, when it was in normal time, I thought he's in trouble here. He's going to get himself another yellow. Um, Absolutely not. He was kicked, and I've still seen people saying that he should get a yellow card, get a second yellow, and have been sent off. No, he shouldn't. He was literally kicked. It shouldn't have even been a free kick to Fulham, but it was. So literally everything went against us, Matty. They tried so hard not get us this result. Um, want to give credit to the keeper. Some fantastic saves that arguably saved. Well, they did save us. We only won 1-0. There was some fantastic saves by Hermansen. Thoroughly deserves his place. They tried to get Fulham another penalty, and again, it was our player being kicked by a Fulham player. I mean, Tati was literally kicked by Tom Kearney. Not a penalty, thankfully. And then Somerville scores. Bowen really pleased he got this assist. He just pounced on bad communication essentially and a mistake. And Somerville's shimmy and finish is lovely. And yeah, it's just a massive win. It's just massive that really felt important.
Yeah, that was really good because I was just watching the highlights there, and it was like you was watching the highlights with me, and you was talking through everything. Yeah, he's kicked the player, so definitely not a full and free kick like you said, or a booking. Yeah, really bad communication from Fulham. To be fair, cost them the game, on it. And great saves from both keepers, from what I could tell in the highlights there.
Yeah, I think we deserved the win in the end. I think we deserved it, and it was just I can't, and you'll understand this now, although you've not had the wins in the relegation battle. When you have when you get those 3 points that feel there's a certain point in the season where you just feel like you can't buy them, you just can't get them. Yeah, you know that feeling.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
do get 3 points that you deserve, that you didn't expect necessarily. You'd have been happy with a draw. It's just, oh, it's such a relief. It's such a, we're not out of it. We're not out of it because of the next game that we're going to talk about, which was an unexpected point for Forest. So I think we were out of the relegation zone for 14 minutes, but my God, were they a glorious 14 minutes.
Yeah, well, let's talk. Oh, sorry, excuse me. Let's talk about it. Man City 2, Forest 2, and this is why I think Arsenal have pretty much got the league done and dusted. Because yes, okay, they've still got a game in hand, they've got to play each other, but Man City are dropping points.
Yeah, and I feel bad criticising Man City for this one because I think they were two fabulous goals from Forest. Really nice. Both Gibbs White and Anderson. Really, really good finishes. Um, and they had a penalty shout, which I don't know how I feel about. I've forgotten it to be honest with you in terms of I just put Haaland penalty shout, not sure. Like I don't know how I feel about it at the moment. Um, but at the end, I mean, I don't know how City didn't score because we turned over after the West Ham game finished because we knew it was 2-2. We turned over, and I genuinely don't know how City didn't score a winner. It was real thimble in the box at the end. But to be honest with you, I think Forest deserved that point.
I mean, I'm looking at the highlights now. To be fair, I'm only at 1-0, but I don't know how Man City haven't scored three already. Oh, that's poor. Was that an own goal? Was it an own goal?
What, the Gibbs White one?
Yeah.
No, I thought it was a back heel.
Oh yeah, lovely little finish. Yeah, from the first angle that it showed, it looked like he'd sort of taken a shot and it deflected off the defender. But yeah, lovely little finish though as well. That's to be fair.
Yeah, and then Rodri's, I think, came from a corner.
Yeah, that's just come up now.
Then Anderson's long distance screamer, lovely.
I'm surprised I've not seen this Anderson equaliser yet. To be fair,
It's very nice.
Wednesday, I don't even know what I was watching Wednesday night. I can't keep up, Grace. These midweek fixtures kill me.
Same.
Talk to me about Semenyo though. I know we spoke about him quite a lot already this season, but again, another player that I think he's going to be signing of the season.
Yeah, and he only signed in January, which just shows you his impact. I mean, he's just unbelievable. He has just copy and pasted his impact for Bournemouth and become as impactful for City. I mean, it's just, I think if City do end up pinching the league from Arsenal, and that's an if they do, they've got a lot to thank Semenyo for because he's come up with some crucial goals for them and has been involved in some crucial goals for them. I just love him. I absolutely love him, and he's just reinforced my love for him.
Uh, yeah, goals just come up from Anderson. I think the Forest have just had one cleared off the line as well towards the end. The thing is with Semenyo, he's actually stopped fucking Haaland from scoring as well, hasn't he? Look at the dry patch that Haaland seems to be on at the minute, especially from open play goals. I know penalty goals are a bit different, but all season, to be fair, Haaland's been a bit slower than usual. Yeah, I think he's been vital for Manchester City, especially like I said, with Haaland being on this bit of a drought. And 100% for me, I think it'll be signing of the season by the time it comes to the end of it.
I can't think of anybody else. Can you think of anybody else?
Off the top of my head, no. There will be some sort of players out there though that definitely need the recognition. I mean, we've got an international break coming up, so hopefully during that international break we'll be able to sit down and have a bit of a longer pod. I know we're going to talk about the international break. We're going to talk about how relegation will affect teams because I think we'll have a better idea at that point who's going to go down. Probably West Ham, Forest, and Tottenham. We'll look at them three and work out how it'll affect each one, and we'll probably have a little look at nomination shouts for signing of the season, etc. Right,
Lovely.
talk to me. Newcastle 2, Manchester United 1. I didn't see this coming, Grace, to be honest.
I think I went for 2-2 on this one. I expected Newcastle to perform because they love a game against this type of team. But I thought Newcastle did very, very well to get themselves 3 points. Ramsey got himself sent off second yellow for a dive, which was a dive and was silly, especially on a yellow card. They're the rules. You're not going to complain about that. The first goal was a penalty. Gordon slotted that one home nicely. Casemiro equalised. It was actually a really nice sort of set play, free kick near post header. And then Asula. Wow. Have you seen this individual goal?
It's on now.
Ooh, this is delicious, delicious, delightful,
There we go.
delightful.
There it is. There we go.
Oh, it's so nice. It's so I could watch goals like that all day. I nearly made it my goal of the week, but I just thought I think I can break down the Dewsbury Hall one better because it's more of a team goal. This is just individual brilliance.
So, is there any chance I can nick that because I completely forgot about goal of the week?
Of course you can.
Either that, or to be fair, Anderson's is a great shout as well.
Yeah, there's some good goals this week. I do want to talk. I mean, I'm giving away my player of the week as well. Ramsey, not Ramsey, Ramsdale was heroic at points. Some of his saves were, I mean, they got Newcastle the 3 points, 100%. He was fantastic and deserves every bit of credit he's going to get for this game.
Yeah, talk to me. What was so impressive about his form? I mean, I'm just watching. Oh, that was a Man United goal there. I'm still watching the highlights. So talk to me. What was so impressive about his performance?
It was just some of the saves were acrobatic. I mean, some of the saves. I've had this conversation with a lot of people before, where I think Ramsdale can milk saves a little bit. He can make them look more fabulous than they are. Um, but these felt worthy. Do you know what I mean? They felt like worthy saves, and he deserved the credit because it's not like United didn't put the pressure on because they did. And I think if it had ended 1-1, I think most people would have said fair enough. They both had a good go, but it was just, I mean, Asuna I just could watch it all day. It's so lovely.
What is it with Ramsdale? Because he's had a bit of a ropey couple of seasons, hasn't he?
He has, and I can't quite make it out. I mean, he has this thing behind him, doesn't he, that he just gets teams relegated. Have you just seen the goal?
No, I've seen the save from Ramsdale.
Oh, there you go.
Who was it? His
And,
ex who took the shot. Fair play.
and that's the thing is that felt like a Pickford save, to be honest with you. And I just I am one to criticise Ramsdale when in the past I have done. I have to give him credit. Have to. I want to know what you just watched.
The
For
goal.
the
Just
audio
seen the goal.
listeners,
I've just
for the
seen the
audio
goal.
listeners, Matthew's just made the most shocked face.
It's a face that not many people get to see. We'll put it that way. It's yeah, look, lovely little step overs. What a finish as well. Fair play. I mean, yeah, that's got to be goal of the week for me, surely. Better than
Yeah,
Anderson's. Mate, they
yeah.
were cracking goals, weren't they?
Some great goals. It was a really good contest, actually. I think it was. I don't know because West Ham were playing. I only caught the end of this one, but just a great game. Really great game.
Wednesday. I'm trying to think of which game I didn't watch any of the games in full other than the Spurs game. I was trying to think of which one I had my eye on the closest, but I can't remember. Um, yeah, sorry, Ramsdale. You were saying
It I just need to give him credit. Honestly, that's where I'm at. I have to give him credit where credit is due because I've been critical before. I don't really know. Like his sort of career has been an interesting one for me because he's been relegated, hasn't he? He's also been recognised for being a great keeper, but then sometimes, he got Arsenal sold him, didn't they? Sort of it didn't feel unexpected, but I was a little bit taken aback when it happened. I felt like it was a slow burn of a release, if that makes sense. It wasn't a oh yeah, he's shit, just get rid of him
well,
type situation.
did Arsenal not try and do this dual keeper thing and how there's no number one goalkeeper and the could be a different keeper for every different game and stuff like that. And I think that was just sort of papering over the cracks. I think it was a polite way of saying you're not good enough. And I think Arsenal made the right decision there 100% because that philosophy, I think we spoke about it at the time, maybe, I can't remember. It's never going to work. You can't, you have to have a number one goalkeeper. And he's just not been able to nail down that starting spot.
No, and I think I've forgotten, is he permanent at Newcastle?
It'll be Nick Pope, won't it? Permanent goalkeeper.
No, I mean as in is it not was he bought
Oh,
by
the
Newcastle?
move, you mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Have a
I've
look.
forgotten. Because if it's a loan move, then what I'm about to say is completely pointless unless they buy him. I think he's got every opportunity to be number one goalkeeper for Newcastle because Pope is getting injured more. Um, and he's older, I believe, Nick Pope. I think he's that bit older, which, sort of they are going to start looking, I imagine, for a new number one at some point. Go on.
Newcastle have completed the sign of goalkeeper Aaron Ramsdale on a season-long loan deal.
Ooh, there you go. So it'll be interesting to see if he. Oh, I don't know. Is there an obligation to buy or I don't even know. I don't even know what the contract is.
I couldn't tell you, to be honest, not without looking into it. Is
Yeah,
it on loan from Arsenal?
I don't even remember. This season has been so long, Matty. Literally, my brain is frazzled.
Oh no, 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 of course. The 27-year-old joins the club from Southampton, where he spent the 24-25 season after joining the Saints from Arsenal last summer. His time, yeah, because
Oh,
yeah, well, that's who we got relegated with, wasn't it? Southampton.
yeah, he just kept getting teams relegated. That was the thing. Everyone was like, "Oh, don't get Ramsdale; he'll get you relegated." But if he puts in performances last night, like he did the other night, then you know he'll be fine as a keeper. I think he's just one of those frustrating ones that doesn't really have a consistency. But I would like to see him in his latter stages of his career because keepers obviously last a bit longer, don't they? 27's no age for him.
Was there not a similar thing between him and Ben Foster about which player had got the most teams relegated or something like that? I think there was a bit of thing. I can't find it. I was trying to have a look see if there was a buy option in his clause, but I can't find anything. But yeah, yeah, no shame because it's again one of them sort of careers really where he's good enough to be in the Prem. Look, I mean, you look at the teams that are coming up in terms of Coventry, Middlesbrough. We don't know who the third's going to be yet, but he can do a job at any of them teams without a doubt. And it's probably going to be a move. But does he want that record on his CV of being the most relegated team? Because it's not nice to have. But should we? I've put it off long enough. Should we talk about this final game?
Absolutely. You go for it.
Well, to be honest with you, I was watching the Tottenham game. I was also watching The Apprentice, which was very, very entertaining. And I was also watching your live stream, which was equally as entertaining. And both of these were more entertaining than the Tottenham game for me. Look, Grace, are Tottenham the only team to not have a new manager bounce?
No, because I mean, we didn't. We didn't. It just took us time. And to be fair, we had Nuno, so we knew it was a bit more long term than Igor Tudor is. So,
But
you know,
I think if we had Tudor for the same amount of time as you've had Nuno, I don't see us ever getting a bounce from him. He just look. We questioned this, didn't we, when Tottenham appointed him? You've brought him in. What is he now? 9 games left. He doesn't know the league. He doesn't know the players much. To be fair, outside of like Moani. I always think this was a strange appointment. And again, it was another when I saw the lineup and the players. This to me was the third game in a row with a completely different setup, and I just don't think this man's got any idea on what to do. But then I don't think anyone's got any idea on what to do. What do we do, Grace? Where do we go? Because this can't carry on.
I think you start by not having some of the players you had on the bench. Play them.
Yeah, look, there was questions like who was on the bench? Was Xavi started on the bench, didn't he?
Javi was on the bench. Conor Gallagher was on the bench. There's a few on the bench that I thought, what? Why have you done that?
Let me have a look. I know we was talking in your stream about this lineup, weren't we? Yeah, mate, I don't know. I don't know. I think that tell people wanted Tell to play. People wanted Sousa to play. I've got no arguments with them two being on the pitch. I think Sousa got hooked early, didn't he, after the Mickey van der Ven red card? Which you can argue it threw the game plan out the window, but no, come on. And I think a lot of people want to see Richarlison start as well. Look, I like Solanke. I think he's a decent striker, but Richarlison just seems to have more fight about him. So I'd have started him. Well, no, to be fair, I'd have started Solanke. I'd have dropped Moani and played Richarlison and Solanke up top because Richarlison's got more fight. Moani, I just don't think he cares. You know he's on loan from PSG. He's going back at the end of the season, regardless of what happens anyway, because he just doesn't seem good enough. But he seems to have this consistency of playing Moani. I've got no words, Chris. I don't really know what to say. And the annoying thing is, well, I say we actually looked all right. There was a Palace goal early on which was ruled out by a nose, which was mental. So we got lucky there. Um, but yeah, look, the red card sort of changed things, I think, and I think at 1-0, this game could have been different until Mickey van der Ven just blew his own head off.
Do you think this decision making from Mickey van der Ven backs your point off up of he's already sort of out the door?
Yeah, he's checked out. He's completely checked out, I think. Obviously, if we go down, he's 100% leaving. If we stay up, I would say 70% leaving.
Mhm.
It's so hard to say. And you know what? I was talking to another Tottenham fan last night, and we was arguing about who actually leaves and who actually stays if Tottenham do get relegated. Mate, I don't even know where to start. I couldn't tell you. I think so many people leave if we go down, and we can talk about this game as much as you want. I've got I've got nothing to say, Grace. The Mickey Van der Ven, what are you doing? It's a red card all day long. Do you know what? Just let him play. I think Vicario was probably getting there. If he doesn't, and they equalise, it's 1-1. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. It's not like it's the 95th minute and Crystal Palace had this opportunity to go 2-1 up. Just let him score. If he has to
Yeah.
score, he scores. And again, does this? Did I make this argument the other week about I was talking about defenders playing better when they've got a reliable goalkeeper behind them. Does he just not have faith in Vicario to make the save? Because to be honest, I probably don't. Yeah,
That was what I was going to bring to the table was that did Ricky van der Ven feel like, I mean, I still don't think he made the right decision, even if he did feel like he was the last man standing type, he didn't have the trust in Vicario. But it just screams it to me. It just screams a lack of trust with the goalkeeper.
it's
And
lazy.
it's just,
It's
yeah,
lazy.
yeah,
It's lazy. And again, it's like I think I put in your live chat, didn't I? It's about having the captain's armband as well. You've got the armband. You can't be making decisions like this. And we've seen it from Romero, who got banned for 4 games. I think if he comes back and picks up a yellow, he's then suspended for another game due to the yellow card count. And we've got Liverpool next. Well, Atletico Madrid, but we've got Liverpool next in the league, and Mickey Van der Ven. Well, we've got Romero back for that game, and now we're missing Mickey Van der Ven. We've never seemed to have this structure in the squad and security, whether it's injuries or suspensions or manager changing the squad. And I don't know what to say or where to go. And honestly, I can't see anything but relegation for Tottenham.
it's hard to see anything else at the moment because I just don't see where you're gonna win. And I think that's the point we were at some point mid-season was we just couldn't buy a win. You
But
don't see where that 3 points is going to come from.
again, and this is kind of what I said earlier on, wasn't it, about the media and myself included, probably yourself included. We all kind of jumped in quite early on the West Ham's already relegated. Yes, okay, you've had a poor form, but we all forget how long this season is. And I can't remember who we said it about earlier on. Was it Villa making a title charge or whatever? And we sort of went quite early on that. And I think we went quite early on the West Ham relegation, which at the time, yeah, it probably did. But the season's so long. And I said to you recently, didn't I, that I think West Ham will escape relegation at the expense of Forest. I think it'll be at the expense of Tottenham.
I think if it's going to be, and I'm saying this, and there is an element of hope in my mind because I didn't see us getting out of this. But given our form, I think if it's going to be down to two teams at the end right now, based on form, I think the two teams are probably Forest and Tottenham. I think it'll always be three teams. I don't think we'll get out easily because we never do. We never make it easy for ourselves. But I I just feel like everything is pointing towards relegation for Tottenham. Everything is. You can't really pick out anything, and it did for Wolves, and Wolves just sort of accepted it, and now they're in a better place. So it's so difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, but again, Wolves have accepted it, but they're still fighting. Tottenham haven't even recognised that they're in this fight. They refuse to accept it. It's like they're too arrogant to accept that these are very, very big possibility of us going down. And we're too much of a banter club, which I know we always have been in terms of we don't win anything or we've never won a trophy or whatever. We've done that with the Europa League. That was the monkey off the shoulder or the back or whatever. That was gone. This was the season to really kick on. And I said to someone the other day, if you had been in the coma for the last 6 months and you said, "Oh, Tottenham and Man United were in the Europa League final, who do you think won it based on this table now?" You'd be backing Man United 100%. What they've done since the final compared to Tottenham is not processing through my head. You know what I mean? It's kind of I expected Man United to be where Tottenham are now.
Hmm.
They didn't. I mean, okay, you can argue that they've got the name draw or whatever. They've still got a bit of power in terms of transfers with your likes of Mbeumo and Cunha, etc., because of their name value. But I never expected this. And can you really, really, really imagine Tottenham in the Championship? I mean, that stadium in the Championship alone. We've got Lincoln City chanting Tottenham away, ole ole against Cardiff. You know what I mean? It's been such a banter season against Tottenham, and I don't think the players recognise it as much as they should, and they can come out in the press conferences and interviews and say that, oh, we speak about this and how it is, how we are aware of the situation. I really don't think they are, Grace.
I think they're aware of where the club is. I just don't think they see themselves as part of the club. I think they see themselves as leaving if they get relegated. For a lot of them, I can imagine there is that sort of escape route for them. Whereas for teams like West Ham and Forest, you know a fair few would stick around and be playing in the Championship next season. And they don't want that. And I think there's a real high, and I can say this about West Ham. I think there's a lot of players who really identify with West Ham and really want to prove themselves and really appreciate the fans and really connect themselves to the club. And that's why we're in the fighting position that we're in. Whereas I just don't feel that with Tottenham. I do feel like they're acknowledging that Tottenham are in a difficult position. But I'm not because I can leave. Do you know what I mean? I'm too good. I'm not going to go down. It's not going to be my burden, Tottenham going down.
Yes or no? Do Tottenham have to throw the Champions League and focus on not being relegated? I mean,
I'm gonna I'm gonna say yes.
you've got to weigh up as well. Like, we haven't got the squad depth for both competitions. I don't think.
And that was what the pause was for. Because in my head, I'm thinking because we're in a similar position with the FA Cup, where do we go full strength tonight or do we give people a rest? Our season turnaround came from an FA Cup win. That cannot be like underestimated. But having that confidence from a win outside of the league can push your form in the league. So there's a part of me that thinks stay in the Champions League, get yourself in a good position, and there's a bit of positivity somewhere that you can build off of. But I think you're right. I don't think you've got the squad depth.
It would be mad to see Tottenham win the Champions League and be relegated, and Port Vale win the FA Cup and play European football from what even league are they in? League One, Nations League.
Some
I
up
don't.
this season, though, wouldn't it?
Oh, it's been crazy, hasn't it? We're going to wrap it up in a minute. Do you want to just give a little love to Crystal Palace? Because to be fair, they did play well. Yeah, go on, give a little love to them before we sign off.
Well, they started playing well, and then Van de Ven made it a hell of a lot easier for them. And then they just started playing a pretty, you know, training ground game, really. I mean, that second half was nothing exciting. Sarr got two of the goals, one of which was a very calm penalty. You have to give him credit for that. Strand Larson with another goal. He seems to be proving himself at Palace. Nice finish. And the Wharton pass for that third goal just cut Tottenham open essentially, which I'll be honest with you isn't the hardest thing to do at the moment. And they deserve that 3-1 win.
Yeah, and look, I'm not even going to speak anymore on it because I just can't, Grace. I'm on the verge of crying.
I know, I feel your pain. I genuinely do.
But at least you're winning games. You look at it right, and again, I'm going to do this very, very quickly because we are going to sign off in a second. Our next nine fixtures: Liverpool, Forest, massive game. Sunderland, Brighton, Wolves, which is now turned out to be a massive game because they seem to be picking up form. Villa, Leeds, Chelsea, and Everton. Honestly, I could see us not winning another game for the rest of the season.
There's no winnable games in my opinion in the Premier League at the moment. I think it's down to who's best on the night in many situations. But I think one thing I would say to you is I do understand why how you're feeling because I've done this before. Like I've been through this before. I've seen us relegated. I've seen us go through the championship and then the playoffs and the playoff final. And it is tough. It is really tough. And it's horrible when you're not used to it. I think it's even more shocking when you're not used to it. Us West Ham fans, we saw this season as just being right, we've had our stint in the Premier League, we're going back down again. You guys, you're a staple in the Premier League. I think that is almost harder to deal with. But no, I genuinely get how you're feeling.
What would be bigger, Leicester winning the league or Tottenham being relegated?
Purely because I like to celebrate merit, I would say Leicester winning the league. I think that was extraordinary. I think that was That was just bonkers. That was fully bonkers. Um, Tottenham, I feel, have been based on the based on the way the club's been going. I feel like a rude awakening like this has been knocking at the door for a little while. I almost feel shocked, but not shocked because you know you had this scare last season, didn't you?
Well, this is why you
Not
don't.
quite as bad.
This is why you don't employ. Oh, sorry, it only wasn't bad because of the three teams that went down. They were horrific. But this
Mhm.
is why you don't employ ex-Arsenal and ex-Chelsea, or whatever higher ups that you want to call them, to run a club. I'm not saying that they're destroying the club from within, but there's a reason why they were sacked by Arsenal and Aston Villa and Chelsea, etc. There's a reason why them clubs sacked these people because they're just not good enough. And Tottenham just gone, yeah, we'll have them because they saw it as a coup. Rather than seeing it as a best business decision, they've seen it as a coup to get one over their rivals, and it's not paid off. Grace, give me your game of the week.
Game of the week. I've gone for City Forest, I think.
Okay, so I was weighing up either City Forest or Chelsea Villa, but yeah, I think City Forest feels right because Villa just didn't really turn up, and this Man City Forest game was more of a level playing field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If as you've gone for City Forest, I'll go Newcastle United then.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. Fair enough. Player of the week.
Ramsdale.
Fair. I'm gonna go. I know, I've got to give him a little bit of credit. I'm gonna have to go João Pedro. You can't bag a hat trick in against a Villa like that and not deserve some credit. To be fair, after seeing the highlights, I can understand why you've gone Ramsdale. I'm not going to pick the same player as you, so I'm gonna yeah give it to João Pedro. Fair play.
Fabulous.
And look at that. I've gone 3 minutes over, Grace. I'm so sorry.
That's all right. Don't worry. It's fine.
You're doing another live, you say, yeah?
Yeah, tomorrow night I'll be doing the Champions League, hopefully, unless something happens. I am planning to do the Champions League because I think it is a massive game for Newcastle tomorrow night, especially at St James's Park. Oh, I'm well looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll sign it off there and we'll let you go and watch your West Ham game. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. I hope you stuck around this long. If you have, you might as well like, subscribe, hit follow, do 5-star ratings, do whatever you are doing on whatever platform you're listening to. Go follow Grace on Gracewell Football because she's now doing lives and they're quite good. And also, I dot around in the chat a little bit as well. Grace, thank you, and we will see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye bye.